Hello, kids! Today we're gonna be reading Little People, Big Dreams, Tenzing Norgay, written by Maria Isabel Sanchez Vergara, illustrated by Bandana Chulachan. Once in Nepal, there was a boy called Tenzing. He was a member of the Sherpas, a group of people who had lived under the great Himalayan mountains for centuries. He grew up in the foothills, and as he took care of the family's yaks, he always looked up high. One mountain towered above all others. Its name was Chomolungma, and it was so high that some said no bird could ever fly over it. Tenzing dreamt that one day he would go all the way to the top and touch the sky from its peak. He was only 7 when he heard about the Chilinga, the men from the west. They were hiring Sherpas to go on an expedition to climb Chomolungma. They said it was the world's highest summit, but they called it Everest. Tenzing would have given all he had to join them, but he was too young for such a dangerous trip. 11 years later, the news of a second expedition arrived from Darjeeling, and he decided to walk all the way to that far Indian town. Darjeeling was sparkling with excitement as the Europeans arrived. Many people had traveled there, hoping to get a job. But sadly, Tenzing wasn't chosen to join the expedition. He was heartbroken, yet determined to keep trying. 2 years later, there was a new expedition to Everest, and only experienced Sherpas who had climbed before were picked for it. At the last minute, 2 more people were needed, and Tenzing was noticed for his bright smile. His smile's so cool. Tenzing learned to use ropes, cut steps on the ice, and set camps on the snow. And even though he went higher than he ever been before, when the time came to go back home, he just wanted to keep going. He joined countless expeditions: Sherpa, French, Indian, Swiss, English, Nepalese for Tenzing, and all mountaineers in the world were his family. On the highest peaks, facing avalanches, blizzards, and freezing temperatures, they were all just human beings helping one another. Tenzing became a renowned Sherpa and was nicknamed the Tiger of the Snows. For the next 20 years, he crossed the Himalayas from side to side and climbed mountains even further away. Yet, Chomolungma was always on his mind. 6 times he failed to climb it. 6 times he went back. Every time, his reputation grew. He was 39 when he joined his 7th expedition. Almost 400 people took part. Yet only 2 men were lucky to make it up to the highest peak. On 29th May 1953, Tenzing and Edmund Hillary made it to the summit of Everest, but those who had tried before them were there too. In Tenzing's thoughts, many had given their lives so that the true men could stand on top of the world. He came down as a hero. In Kathmandu, the king granted him the Star of Nepal, and in New Delhi, the Indian Prime Minister gave his own clothes for Tenzing to wear during his visit to Queen Elizabeth in England. And if there was ever a bond between a mountain and a child, it was between Chomolungma and little Tenzing, the Sherpa who, by looking up to Everest with love and respect, became one of the most celebrated mountaineers of all time. Tenzing Norgay, born 1914, died 1986. Tenzing was born in May 1914. He lived in the shadow of Chomolungma, also known as Mount Everest, which is the highest mountain in the world. One of 13 children, his parents named him Nangval Wangdi, but a Buddhist Lama suggested they change it to Tenzing Norgay, which translates as wealthy, fortunate follower of religion. Tenzing had an adventurous spirit and dreamt of reaching the peak of Chomolungma. At 19, he moved to Darjeeling, India, the home of many expert mountaineers. In 1935, Tenzing was hired as a guide for a research expedition on the mountain. Although they didn't make it to the top, It was the first of many Everest climbs for Tenzing. Nearly 20 years later, he was hired as a mountaineer for a British expedition to the mountain. It was his seventh climb. Amongst the party climbing alongside him was Edmund Hillary, a mountaineer from New Zealand. Out of almost 400 people, Edmund and Tenzing were the only two to reach the summit. They stood on top of the world at 11:30 a.m. on 29th May 1953. Tenzing was awarded the Star of Nepal and the Padma Bhushan, the third highest civilian award in India. Tenzing was awarded the Star of Nepal and the Padma Bhushan, the third highest civilian award in India. He went on to train South Asian children in mountaineering skills and provide scholarships for their studies. He was 64 when he established a trekking company that to this day helps people to climb the Himalayas. In Sagartama National Park, there is a memorial statue honoring Tenzing's achievements. The little boy with the adventurous heart grew up to be a hero to all those who reach for the highest peak. Little people, big dreams. Tenzing Norgay. Tenzing dreamt of climbing to the top of Mount Everest, the world's highest mountain. It was something that had never been done before. He worked hard to become an expert on its slopes, joining countless expeditions and sharing his knowledge with fellow climbers reaching for the summit. After 6 difficult attempts, he finally made it to Everest's peak and stood on top of the world. This inspiring story of the legendary mountaineer features a fact and photo section at the back.